The classroom buzzed with lazy afternoon chatter as the chemistry teacher smacked at the attendance sheet against his desk. New lab partner this semester, he announced, and the class gone in unison. Vine rolled her eyes playfully. She actually liked science class. Well, the bar of where exploration could happen, and the teacher didn't notice. If she painted her nails with correction pen, the teacher fingers slid down. Vine had whipped toward the back of the classroom where he sat, scrawled his seat, earbuds in, hoodie halfway up his head, twirling a pen like it was a weapon. Didn't blink. Someone behind her whispered. She's dead. Maybe. God bless your soul. Another muttered. Vine blinked, then sprang. When the bell rang and the class empty, Vine skipped over the long text. Taehyung never let anyone sit at. She dropped her bag next to him. Hi partner, she beamed, dropping into the seat. Look like we all will be blowing. He didn't look up, didn't move, not even a twig. Vine leaned in a little closer. Hello Earth to moody boy. Then slowly slid one earbud out and turned to her, eyes cold. Don't talk to me useless. It's about the... Oh, sure. So he speaks, she kept. I thought you were mute or a vampire, turning his hand sharply and stood towering over her, his back slammed over one shoulder with effortless swing. He looked down at her. You talk too much, she grinned, completely unaffected. You wrote too much, and with that he walked away, not another word. Later that day, Vine was still grinning like an idiot while chewing on her pen cap during lunch. You were smiling, her friend said. Why, I think I just found my next project, Vine whispered dramatically. Operation Melt, Mr. Freeze. Vine, her friend, deadpan. You are going to die, she chewing her juice box straw. Yeah, but imagine the fun. I will have annoying him on the way. Meanwhile, Taehyung sat alone on the rooftop, hoodie up, earphones in, but he hadn't turned the music on. Instead, he was staring at the empty space beside him, where she had sat earlier, her voice still mush in his. Hi partner, he scoffed quietly. Annoying girl, he muttered, but somehow he didn't hate that the way it sounded. Then one cheerful voice rang down the hallway like an alarm clock. You couldn't snooze. He didn't stop walking. She rushed behind him, clutching her chemistry notebook in one hand and the juice box in other hand. Yes, hey, I got an idea of our lab exam. He didn't even look at her. You walk too fast. Are you running from me or just allergic to social interaction? She said breathlessly as she tried to keep up with his long stride. Still no response. I mean, I get it, she continued unfazed. Maybe you were raised by wolves or trained by the KGB. Your silence is very mysterious, sense even in a he might kill me kind of way. Tim heard Vine crush into his back. He turned slowly, face unreadable, voice ice cold. Do you ever shut up? Vine blinked, then smiled. Nope. He stared at her, annoying, but something about the way she looked at him, completely unafraid, made his finger twist with frustration and curiosity. She offered him her juice box. What the hell is this? He asked, blinking at it. Peace offering, she said brightly. Apple flavor. You look like this type of who like bitter coffee, but secretly wants sweet thing. He just walked away, but he took the juice box. Later that day, in the library, Wine sat at the table already snacking their chemistry book and half a dozen color pens. Taehyung approached, hand in his pocket, expression blank. She looked up and gasped, screaming, "Whoa, you actually show up. I thought I have to summon you through a ritual." He dropped his bag on the table. "Let's just get this over with." Sure, she chirped. "But just so you know, I am triple actress. So if we ever do roleplay lab partner stuff in front of the class, you will have to do the serious face. I will just look cute and pretend to understand Moclius." Taehyung gave her a long stare. "Are you always this annoying? Only to people like..." He paused. Her word hung in the air longer than either expected. Taehyung opened his notebook and muttered under his breath, "Insane." But when she wasn't looking, he placed the doodle on her paper, a teeny cartoon version of him with the devil horns. And for the first time in days, he smiled just a little. That evening, Wine passes by the art room on her way out and paused. Taehyung was inside, sketching something intensely, music low in his ear. She peeked from the door. Without entering, he looked peaceful. Beautiful, so different from the cold boy who snapped at her in class. She didn't know he noticed her reflection in the glass, and the later he tore the page he drawn of her smiling and showed it deep into his sketchbook. "Stupid girl," he whispered, but his lips curled. It all started with a firecracker, no literally firecracker. Wine being the curious class magnet, she was decided to blow a mini firecracker just for a term of herself off from their chemistry, just to make the volcano more dramatic. She whispered to them. He had warned her twice, but did she listen? Of course not. So when the bomb exploded into the air, slaps across 3 lab stations, including the teacher's shoes, they were put through. Detention, the teacher clawed, wiping the yellow slime off his shirt. "Today, both of you." But it was just now. Wine popped into the creaky wooden chair next to them, serenity dramatically. "If she just has been in pursuit of life," he sat beside her, arm crossed, head tilted back against the wall, eyes closed, peacefully ignoring her existence. Wine leaned closer and whispered, "Hey, Taehyung." No response. Past nothing. "You look really hot when the volcano explodes. Like Matt Sanders meet boy, dangerous, visibly attractive." One of his eyes cracked open. "Do you ever stop talking?" "Only when I am asleep," she whispered with a smile. "You should try it sometime." Smiling, "I bet you look like someone about to die." He looked like her, a blank face she saw with a tiny twitch in the corner of his lips. Silence settled over the room again for a while. Then she whispered quietly, "I used to come here alone a lot last year." He turned toward her, surprised. "My grades slipped. I messed around too much. Wasn't really in a good place back then." He didn't speak, but he was listening now. "I joke a lot, so people wouldn't ask how I was doing." Her voice pattered, the brightness intensely, like she clicked a switch. "Anyway, your turn. Your backstory, were born, or did something tragic happen?" Taehyung stared at her for a long beat. "Maybe I just hate loud people." "Maybe I just hate loud people." She smiled warmly. "Then I must be your biggest nightmare." He's giggling. He muttered, "You are," but for some reason his voice wasn't cruel. After detention, as they walked out, Wine stumbled on the stair without thinking. Taehyung catch her waist from past relative. Their eyes locked. Her breath hitched. You okay? He asked quietly. Almost he forgot to sound cold. She nodded. Thanks, mister, I don't care. He dropped her hand like it burned. I don't. Sure. She smiled. Then why you saved me like a knight in the black uniform? Bye.